folks. Welcome to another episode of Open World Chat, where we talk about any and all things geeky and usually let our politics spill out. Although this one is going to be a particularly light one, so probably no politics. I'm John Odom. I'm here with Mark Card. Mark, what's up?
Today's the old TV theme songs. Now we get to reveal how old we are and whether or not we're keeping up with the new stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna go through our favorite TV theme songs, as Mark said. A lot of fun, goofy stuff. But I gotta tell you, I couldn't decide. I mean, there's a bunch that would definitely on my list, but then there's a bunch of others that one day they might be, another day the order, one day. So I just had to, shit or get off the pot. And so I just
Oh,
picked a bunch of them, put them in an order. I think it's good. I don't know if you had the same issues.
well, I just think it's really important that people understand these are not the ones we think which are the best
Right.
necessarily, or the ones which are the most influential necessarily. But for me, they're just my kind of my favorite ones. And that's the thing about lists of favorites is they could change day to day to day.
Yeah.
So, but these are the ones that I've chosen for our little discussion today. And, there's some things I didn't want to leave off, but I did. And there's some things I wanted to add, but didn't. And so, it's just going to be fun to see. And this kind of list, I always maintain, really shows more about the people making the list than it does necessarily about the music.
And we had no repeats. We had nothing where we picked the same ones.
Yep, no overlap at all. So
No
this will be
overlap.
fun.
That's the word. I knew there was a word for it. Overlap. That's a good one. All right. Well, let's get going.
Yep,
Um, I'm going to start with my number 10, and then we'll alternate and work our way up.
sounds
Now,
great.
my number 10, part of me doesn't even want to play it because it's so pedestrian, but it's so good. It's just so good. It has to be up there. So I won't even introduce it because everybody knows it. So here we go. Right? I mean, right?
Yeah, this is when I left off, but I felt bad about doing it. You've got that whole like the fuse animation that goes with it. It's just a classic for a reason. I mean, this is iconography here.
It is. And it's so good. I mean, it
Yeah.
never goes away. It's in all the movies and it's got that bum, bum, bum. It stays awesome to this day. And I looked into this. Okay, this guy who wrote it, this Lalo Schifrin guy, I think it was Schifrin. My notes are very small for me to read. Um, he wrote the themes to Mannix,
Yep.
Cool Hand Luke, Bullet, THX 1138.
Well,
Um,
Lalo Schifrin, he's one of the best. He's out there.
I had no idea. The
Oh yeah.
Amityville Horror.
Yep.
He's yeah, quite a career there. And I
Well,
should
yeah.
mention too, just matter of fact, that we are going to keep these clips down to about 30 seconds so we don't get into trouble.
Yeah. Well, the other thing people need to realize is that the studio system didn't just apply to the movies, it applied to TV too. So once you proved your mettle as a composer, you got work.
Yeah. And I definitely saw some, the older the stuff I pull up, the more well, actually, that's not true. There's one particular later one, but we'll get to him. But you do see a lot of that studio effect like you're talking
Yeah.
about. So should we bump over to yours? Do
Yep.
you want to
Yeah, let's
introduce
let's
it or
bounce
should I
back and
just
forth. I
play
think
it?
that's the best one to do. So go ahead and play that one.
All righty, here we go. Boy, we're starting to tear through. That's good. absolute
Yeah,
classic.
that's the Peter Gunn theme. Now, Peter Gunn was a detective kind of spy detective show, and it was actually on two networks. It went for 3 years, 58 through 60, I think, on CBS, and I think ABC picked it up from 60 to 61. But I did a little, now this is by Henry Mancini, very famous for Pink Panther theme. But I did a little digging on this one, and guess who's playing the piano on that theme?
Oh God, don't ask me to guess. I have no idea.
It's a little composer that, you might know about him. His name is John Williams.
Oh, really? The same
Yes.
John Williams?
He's and then here's the cool thing. So John Williams was for guys our age, really not on our radar that we thought anyway, until Star Wars and Jaws,
Yeah.
right? Turns out we already knew about him from a long time before that. So, there was Irwin Allen, the film producer, did a whole bunch of science fiction TV shows. Land of the Giants, The Time Tunnel, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, and Lost in Space, right?
Mhm.
Guess who wrote all those themes?
Same dude?
John Williams.
Or John Williams. Oh, okay. Wow.
John
He did? John
Williams.
Williams wrote those?
Yes, we have been watching those all along as kids, long before Star Wars showed up. Those were all late 60s TV shows, and John Williams wrote them all.
Wow, that's
But
weird.
but on this one, the Peter Gunn theme, he's only the piano player. But you can see kind of the rabbit hole I went down when I saw this. So I thought it was really interesting that he got his start on TV themes.
That's very
Williams did.
interesting. Huh.
But this is a classic. It's got that late that early 60s kind of James Bond, Matt Helm, uh I forget the other one. There's another kind of parody of the James Bond movies. It sounds like that kind of theme, and it's a classic. I mean, it's still recorded by some artists today, and
Hmm.
it's really recognizable. People know this one, and I just think it belongs in this list. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah. God, I'm going to go on to my next one in a minute, which is going to have a name that you'll hear again. I mean, your comment about the sort of studio uh, paradigm in the 60s really comes true because when I was looking at who did the ones I picked, the same name came up twice.
Yeah,
So that name for the next one is a little one I feel a little bad about, because all right, it's Doctor Who, right?
yeah,
But it's not the original. I mean, and it should be on there. It's really, really bad that it's not. The original was actually Landmark electronic music. Um,
right.
it's Ron Grenier. And so it should have that, but I don't because it's not my favorite. It's not the one that sticks in my head. The one that sticks in my head, and all the ones, after that, until the series went away, were variations. They were all electronic music. They were all sort of variations on that theme. When the series came back in the 2000s, they took that theme and built like a regular, more traditional orchestral. They made a more traditional theme around it. And goddamn, if one of the first ones that they did with that is the one that actually sticks in my head, that's my favorite. It's an adaptation from Murray Gold. So I'm going to play that one now. And like I say, I feel guilty about playing one of the newer ones, but this is from the 10th Doctor, I think his second series. Yeah, so that's another 30-second snippet. But yeah, Doctor Who. I'm a geek. What can I say?
Oh no, and I don't think you should have any guilt about using one of the later ones. It's really the later episodes which kind of, renewed it and made it more accessible to people who are more mainstream.
Yeah,
So,
you weren't like
yeah, I
me.
mean, and the thing is, what we're going to see when we get to, let's see, oh, it's my number 8 is sometimes you will see a lot of variations of the same theme song. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's a valid choice.
Cool. All right. Well, I will feel validated by your opinion there then. And we'll jump on to
So,
your
my next
turn.
one is Stranger Things. And the reason why I love this is because it really captures that Vangelis 80s soundtrack vibe with mostly synthesizers and pulsing and kind of an 808 drum machine behind it. So it just really captures the time period that it's trying to, that the show is centered around. So hit Maestro.
Yeah, yeah. I'm going to say about this just before I hit it, just a note on some of these we're playing is sometimes it made sense just to play the song from the beginning because that's sort of iconic. But some of these I aimed for parts in the middle that maybe encompassed more than one theme that was familiar to folks. And I think I did that with this one, but I'm not
Yeah.
sure. But here we go. Yeah, so that's a good one, no doubt.
Yeah. I mean, this just has kind of some of the same motifs as, say, the original Blade Runner soundtrack.
Hmm.
That kind of hard synthesizer, no guitars, just mostly synthesizer and drum machine. And I really like it. And for those of you who are like us and old enough to remember the 80s, it really rings authentic.
Well, I'll go to my number 8 here, and I do want to apologize. I think the way our sound is coming from speaking and the sound levels from the audio, even though I set the levels, it would seem to be reasonable. They're coming over at very different levels.
Yeah,
So
the clips are playing very loud.
they are playing very loud, and I do not know why that's happening. But maybe I do. Maybe I can fix that. Stand by. Stand by. Maybe I just fixed it. Gosh, makes me want to go and do the whole thing over again. But we're not, you know what? We're not going to do that. We're just not going to do that. All right, let's see what happens when I play my number 8, which is just in time to turn it down to a little more reasonable level. So, I should have checked this before. I'm new with this sound thing. I don't know. I'm clumsy, bungling or whatever. Okay, number 8 from me. Nerf
Yep.
herder. You probably figured this was coming.
Yeah, well, I was going to include it, but I did not because I like one a lot better. And we'll see when we get a little higher up on the list.
Say no more. Don't give away. No spoilers. No
No, I
spoilers.
will not be spoiling that.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Um, we Buffy is become the new. It used to be that Star Trek always came up every episode we did, and since
Uh-huh.
Parks come along, now we don't always mention Star Trek, but we always manage to mention Buffy. So
Buffy or Firefly with me.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, Firefly's off and on, but I think Buffy always gets in there one way or the other from one of us. But yeah, I mean, perfect theme for the show. It just, uh, is this going to be, especially when it came out, is this going to be a real pretentious show? Is this going to be goofy like the movie? What's it going to be? And somehow the music that they would have featured for the first couple seasons just set a tone that was,
Yeah.
it's not going to be either of these things. It's going to be, I don't have good adjectives for it, right? I should have thought of that in advance. But yeah, I know this is you're a big fan, of course. Any other
Well,
thoughts on it?
yeah, well, music was such an important part of the show, and a lot of songs actually played on Buffy before they were big hits. The Moby hit "Praise You Like I Should," that was in the movie. Um, I mean, that was in the show. Amy Mann is famous because she plays at the Bronze during the show, and of course, something big happens, and they end up having to. The band has to leave the stage, and she's the one who says, "Man, I hate playing Vampire Towns."
Yeah. Amy Mann,
Um,
of course, I think at that point was already well known, unlike a lot of the others, but
right,
that's
but
also cool.
there's this late 90s, early 2000s kind of sound that the theme song just encapsulated perfectly. And then the really best thing about this one is that what they do with the opening theme is they match the theme to clips of what's happened in that season so far. So, I mean, even when there are a couple of seasons where they incorporate a scream from the show into the theme. So it's all synced up nicely. It really kind of follows the sound of the times and it works well with the visuals in the opening. So I just kind of think it's, close to a perfect TV theme song.
Oh yeah, and like the other, couple seasons, there's the whoosh instead of the scream.
Right. Yeah.
It's fun. All right, what was that? Number eight?
That
So
was
now I
number
owe
8.
you a number eight.
Right.
I get to see because I'm clicking on these things what your next ones are. This is entertaining. Here we go. You want to say something about it, or should I just?
Yeah. We're going to talk a little bit about this for a second at first. So this is from the TV show Weeds, which was on Showtime. And Mary Louise Parker played a housewife whose husband dies suddenly and she doesn't have any real marketable skills. So she becomes a weed dealer. And the setting is an LA suburban kind of cookie cutter neighborhood.
Yeah.
And so the song is actually from the early to middle 60s. It's kind of a anti-middle class song, kind of a protest folk song from that period by a lady named Malvina Reynolds. It's called Little Boxes. Now, the cool thing about this song is that for the first couple of seasons, it was the woman who actually originally recorded the song. That's what they used as the theme. But as this show became hipper and hipper, they began recording more and more different versions of it. And there are a whole bunch of versions. I looked up several of them. Uh, just got to bring up that list here. Um,
Oh, and while you're looking, this is back a ways. This was a 90s show or 2000s, but anyways,
early
early
2000s. I think
2000s.
2005 is
Yeah.
is the
So
first
weed
one.
was
So
still,
yeah, I mean,
it was
a whole
illegal everywhere, and getting involved in it meant getting involved with some shady people sometimes.
right. But it's kind of a comedy, it's kind of a drama. So in season 2, for example, I mean, this is a big list of people. Elvis Costello did it. Death Cab for Cutie did it. Engelbert Humperdinck did it. Kind of an out there band called Ozomatli did it. Regina Spektor did it in season 2. In season 3, Joan Baez, the Decemberists, Linkin Park, Donovan.
There were that many seasons?
There were 8 seasons.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Wow.
let's see. Who else did it? A whole bunch of different people did this. Amy Mann, we just mentioned her. Ben Folds, he did one. But the version you're going to get is with Steve Martin and Kevin Nealon. Now, Kevin Nealon was actually in the show,
Yeah.
and you'll hear Kevin Nealon sing, and you'll hear Steve Martin play the banjo and then do something else. So let's hear it.
Little boxes on the hillside.
Little boxes made of ticky-tacky.
Little boxes on the hillside.
Little boxes all the same.
There's a green one and a pink one and a blue one and a yellow one.
And they're all made out of ticky-tacky. And they all look just the same.
Really glad.
So there's Steve Martin playing the banjo in classic Steve Martin fashion. But it's a classic little kind of, oh, we all live in the suburbs, we all do the same things, we all have the same jobs. It's really kind of very biting criticism of suburban life. And that goes well with the show. But I just thought it was great because there are so many different versions of the song and so many different ways you can play that song. So if you want to go down a wormhole on the net, look up the number of versions of Little Boxes there are from the show, TV show Weeds, and listen to all of them because they're all distinct and they're all very interesting.
It's a lot of fun. You picked the right one. I forgot all about it too. I used to watch that show
That
sometimes.
show is really, really good. One of the
Mhm.
most underrated shows on cable TV.
Yeah, it's a good show. Um, all right, so I'll go on to my, I guess, number seven here. People are gonna laugh at me on this one. This is something that a lot of people think is cheesy. All right, and it is. I find it gorgeous. I'm one of those people. You go to like the little, piano recitals of people who are just learning how to play piano and stuff like that. And this is a song that pops up a lot, which is really funny. So I picked some of the middle of it to cover a couple of the themes, but see if you recognize this one, old people. Yeah, see if you know. Oh, poor David Banner. End of the episode, hitchhiking away to his next adventure. Can never stay in one place long enough, or the evil reporter will find him when he turns into the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, and like Buffy, this one really kind of encapsulates theme songs from that period of the middle to late 70s.
Yeah. It's not the opening title theme music at all, but I mean,
Right.
let's say the opening title is a fantastic opening title. And this is what you hear at the end. It's called The Lonely Man. Um, and it's written by Joe Harnell. And supposedly somewhere, because when I saw the name, it referred to him writing the song and the lyrics. I've
Right.
never found any lyrics, and I don't think I'm going to look. I don't want to know.
Yeah, there are more lyrics for these TV theme songs than you think.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't want to mention.
No, because I'm going to mention it later.
Yeah. All right. All right, that was my number seven. What we got for your number seven? Ooh, I like your number seven. You want to lead it in, or should I just play it?
No, just play it.
Yeah, so that part of it, the end seemed like the place to play, but yeah. So what are you thinking here?
The Walking Dead. This is so creepy. And so, I mean, you just get the whole sense of danger. And uh it's just really complex emotionally. And so when this show was great for 3 seasons. After that, I think it goes to hell in a handbasket. But that first season, that first opening, and then they hit you with this music, and you just knew this was something different. This wasn't something you had seen on TV very much. And of course, the guy has gone on now to do all kinds of things. I can't remember his name. I remember his last name. I remember his first name. His first name is Bear.
Oh, I've got a yeah, yeah. What is his name? I got one of his on there. Bear McCreary.
Yes. And he is so I think this was the first one, and I could be wrong about this, of course, but this was the first one that came across my attention, and he is just a home run. You couldn't have written a better theme song for The Walking Dead. You just could not possibly have done it. It has that whole mystery, creepy, dangerous feeling to it. And it's a full orchestra. It's just a great piece of TV theme music. It's instantly recognizable. In 50 years, people, because now the show's on the internet, in 50 years, people will recognize this song and know exactly where it's from.
So this guy won 3 Emmys for his work, and he's done a ton of themes. Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Looking at my list here, Outlander. I think he was the Outlander one. Anyways, he's won a couple British Academy Games Award for music for God of War and God of War Ragnarok. He's been
Right.
nominated for Grammys. This dude's the real deal.
Yeah, he
And it's
really
interesting
is.
that we both ended up picking one from him.
Well, the thing is, a lot of these people start out in TV shows. There's the guy who did the original music, the original score for Buffy. He went on to become a big time film composer as well. So this is kind of a channel for becoming a film composer. That's one of the things that we're seeing here. You get recognized as a composer of TV themes, and like John Williams, and you end up doing scores for feature films.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'll jump on to my, what is it, number 6, I guess.
Uh-huh.
I love this theme. This theme, it brings back, I loved it when it was out. It brings back warm and fuzzy memories to me. This is a series I go back and watch a lot because I'm just that kind of guy. It's one of, I think, 2 animation themes, but this is a show I could sit and watch with my kids and my wife, and we all loved it just as much. It was family viewing, and that is the theme from the Justice League cartoon in the 2000s. So, oh, it makes me well up with tears. I love that music so much, and
Well,
I
and
enjoyed the
and the,
series so much, and it was that much it became that much better when the next series, when Justice League Unlimited started, which had a god awful theme music. And I swear, I mean, it was a theme music that drove me away from the TV, and I swear it's why I ended up, stop watching, even though the quality was still pretty much just as good. But yeah, I love Justice League.
interesting. That really, wow. So when was that cartoon? When did it show?
God, oh man, don't ask me that. Early 2000s is all I can tell you. The music is by a guy named Christopher Carter, not to be confused with Chris Carter.
It's very reminiscent of both Marvel, MCU, DCEU, and DCU themes.
Mm,
It's really reminiscent of that. You can see the lineage of those it's very superhero style film. I mean music.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's great.
It is, and it's so positive sounding, you know?
Yes.
I don't know. It's great. I adore it.
It,
I
it,
wish it
it's
were longer.
it's so funny uh, how we have difficulty sometimes describing these things in music.
Hmm.
You know, there are strong sense memory kinds of associations with music, but we have difficulty. I think everybody has difficulty articulating them.
Hmm.
Uh, and it's because you just have this strong emotional connection to it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think any real art is about making the intangible into something tangible. So you can, what you feel, you can see or hear or touch, you know.
Yeah, but I struggle to describe those things vocally.
Hmm.
It's very difficult for me to have the vocabulary to express my feelings to a piece of music.
Hmm. Well, we should go on to year number six. Any thoughts or should I dive in?
I would just dive in. I think this is pretty recognizable. I think people know this pretty well.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
Your next one's even more recognizable, but we'll
well,
get
yeah,
to
of
that
course,
later.
yes.
All right, here we go. So I picked a spot that was sort of in between there to pull our 30-second snippet from because I loved the build up into the main theme.
Yeah, you've got to do that in this piece because if you just start out at the beginning, you get a very long introduction that's mostly just the drums
Hmm.
and a little bit of synthesizer. So it's not as recognizable as in the middle. So this is for, I mean, most people should know this by now. This is the theme for The Mandalorian. And I just have to say that people who enjoy geek culture have a lot more gratitude to show to Jon Favreau than they know because Jon Favreau is the guy responsible for Iron Man. He told the studio that he wanted Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, and that's the only person he would accept. And the studio said no, so he said, "Okay, I'll walk." And they caved, and he
The
kicks
rest is
off the
history.
MCU as the giant it is. There were movies before Iron Man, but nothing like Iron Man since. So, and it's Jon Favreau who really kind of brought Star Wars back for a little bit. Sorry, who brought Star Wars back for a little bit by taking on this Mandalorian project. And so this is another one of those things that's instantly recognizable. From the first few seconds, you know exactly what show this is from, and it brings up a set of mental images. It brings up the aesthetic of the show, which is distinctly Star Wars, but it's also distinctly different from Star Wars.
Hmm.
So again, another one that captures the energy of the show that it intends to. I mean, that it's the theme of. And it's really, you could say a lot about this theme, but what's the point? I mean, it just listen to the music. It speaks for itself.
We could do a whole, and we should have a whole episode about Star Wars at some point. But I mean, Mandalorian is such an important series. If you don't recognize the theme, you're listening to the wrong show. But when you got to Rogue One, Star Wars really branched in a couple directions.
Yeah,
And Mandalorian really became the flagship beyond Rogue One of that new direction,
yeah,
that branch. But yeah,
yeah.
anyways, very
And that's all Jon
recognizable.
Favreau. Jon Favreau said, "All right, we have to get back to the original kind of stuff that we saw, but it has to be different than the original."
Right, different. Yeah.
They really picked the right guy to revive it. They really did.
All right, we're down to the top half here. To my number five is by Let me see if I can read my notes here. Earl Hagen created music for all kinds. One of these 60s, 70s one. He wrote the theme to the Dick Van Dyke Show,
Oh, wow.
well as
Gosh,
I
and
Spy, That Girl, and this one that I'm going to play, which is one of my favorite themes. This wasn't this, I swear to God, I didn't just drop this in to mix it up a little. I love this theme music. I get it in my head all the time. I'm humming it constantly. I'm going to play it. Woo!
yeah.
Yeah. The Mod Squad.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Now, I have a funny story to tell about this. So when I was a kid, when Mod Squad was out, what was it, 70, 71?
Something like that.
So I was
Something.
8 or 9 years old and or maybe 7 years old. And my sister would always trick me. So got 4 kids in the family and only 2 TVs, and one was downstairs where my parents, they determined what you saw and what you didn't. And we had one that was upstairs. And I would always want to watch something different than my sister would. And she would go, okay, well, I'll let you watch that, but I just want to hear the theme music. And then, of course, half an hour later, I was in the middle of this 1 hour pop show or drama show or whatever she wanted to watch. And I was like, hey, wait a minute. And she always lured me in with the theme song. And this was one of them she did that with.
I'm just, I don't know what I can really say about this other than I love it dearly. And I go around, humming it. It gets me amped up.
Well, it kind of reminds me of the Michael Douglas vehicle, the Streets of San Francisco, too.
Oh, hey, that's ringing all kinds of bells, but I'm not calling it to the front of my mind.
Yeah, well, if you listen to it, you'll know
I'll
it.
know it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, nothing more to say about that other than cool. But let's go on to your number five, which
Yeah, just play
is,
it.
oh my God, just
Just
play it.
doesn't need any
Seriously.
introduction.
Dun, dun,
Yeah, this
dun.
was played in so many different variations. I saw a New Orleans jazz band play this live once, and they did a great version. There are reggae versions of this song. There are punk versions of this song. There are death metal versions of this song. This one is just, I mean, and then of course, once again, it matched the visuals where you have that animated kind of uh,
The puzzle
uh,
thing, whatever.
puzzle opening. Yeah, that's great stuff.
That was.
Remind me a lot of the puzzle banks from the 30s and 40s. And it's just, and they did a great job of doing music. And I almost picked a song from the show, not the main theme. I
Mhm.
almost picked The Rains of Castamere.
Oh,
Wi-
right.
And
Very
and there are
important theme in the series.
no, it's not a theme. It's just, I mean,
Well,
it's a leitmotif in the score of the show in general, but
mhm.
people would have known it instantly. The
Yeah.
moment that song plays The Rains of Castamere, you know exactly what it is. And then in one of the episodes, they did a version from an Icelandic band of The Rains of Castamere playing primitive Nordic instruments, and it's perfect. Uh, you could not ask for a more iconic TV theme show.
Yeah. I mean, it's like when I saw that on your list, I thought, all right, that's your Mission Impossible. Like
Yeah.
couldn't, it's not even worth introducing almost. Just like, here's the next one. All right, here's the next one.
Well, there's just not much you can add to it. I mean, it
Yeah.
does that job so well. What's the point?
There's nothing to be said. Um, anyway, so my number four, we're getting up there. We're getting close.
Oh yeah.
This is the other one by Ron Grenier. Grenier. Don't know how to pronounce his name. I just know he's English, so it's going to be anglicized. Um, who wrote the Doctor Who theme. So it's another British show. So here we go again with that studio dynamic you're talking about. It was
Right.
the case in Britain too. So here we go. Number four is from the 60s television series, still arguably my favorite television series of all time, The Prisoner. I love
I am not a number.
that. This is another one that just gets in my head and I start
Oh
humming
yeah.
it. I can't help myself.
I almost chose this one.
Oh yeah, no kidding.
I was very close to choosing this.
Uh-huh.
So this brings me back to my high school years, but actually really more middle school to high school years. So little known fact, the first TV station ever to get Monty Python was my local PBS TV station, ERA in Dallas. They got it in 73, 74, which was the last year the Pythons were actually a running TV show. Once the Pythons took hold, everything British just flooded into our public TV station. And so I can remember watching these my junior and senior year, it's probably sophomore, junior, and senior year in high school, watching The Prisoner. It's such a great show. There are so many shows that owe their entire kind of skeleton to The Prisoner, starting with Lost.
Yeah.
Lost owes The Prisoner a bunch of stuff because there are so many things in The Prisoner that they just don't bother to explain to you ever.
Yeah. They tried to remake Prisoner a couple times. Once, I think, with Ian McKellen, and each time it was just a disaster. It was a re-envisioning. It was like, what are we doing? Just,
Yeah, they caught lightning in a bottle, and you're
yeah,
just not going to do it again.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Then now that's a topic we could talk about. We could talk about things that, TV shows that it's just pointless to try and remake.
That's true. It's kind of a good topic. Yeah, think about that. So you're number four. You want any lead in?
No, I don't think you need to lead in with this one either. This is another perfect TV theme song.
Another one I had to parse from the middle here. Well, anyways, here we go. Ah, it's
Angelo
so,
Badalamenti.
yeah, it's
Such a great theme
deceptively
song.
relaxing.
But see, that's the thing. When Twin Peaks came out, there was nothing on TV that had been like that ever. And really, there hasn't been anything on TV like it since.
Yeah. Well, that's David
And
Lynch for you.
this perfectly encapsulates the kind of bucolic seaside Pacific Northwest town that just has murder in it. The theme is very relaxing, but it's just weird enough for you to know there's something else going on here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it just fits that theme. I mean, it just fits the theme of the TV show perfectly. You
It is
just
one
can't.
of the most perfect fits for a television show ever.
And, this goes back to a show we did about sound editing and about how the sound of a show is every bit as important as art direction, as film direction, as editing, as all of that stuff. the sound, including the music you have, is just going to define your work. And directors and creators that pay close attention to the music in their shows, they're always going to be superior shows.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, let's go on to our number threes. My number three and my number two are a weird combination. I hadn't planned on doing the number two that I did. Well, this will all be clear in a moment. But my number three is we're up to all the themes that I get in my head and I walk around humming all the time, right? So number three for me is the theme from the 1970s Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, yeah.
Now, this one, more than any of the others that we're talking about today, I talk about the ones that get into my head. This is the one that's going to stay there for the rest of the day.
So
Oh,
yeah, I mean, for people our age, this was again something that you just didn't see on TV before, and this song just stuck with you.
they wanted the Star Wars crowd, so they wanted something big and orchestral and dramatic.
Lots of
And there's a lot of
brass.
problems with this series. They sort of got it, they sort of didn't. They got its own thing. It was cool in some ways, it wasn't. But they got it with the music. They really did.
Well, and the crazy thing is that it's kind of what happened with the new show too. They couldn't decide what if it was it going to be a mini series, was it going to be a long running series. So they kind of made the same mistakes in both sets, but they got the music right. The funny thing for me is, so where I work, they play canned music, and they will have like interruptions, breaks between the canned music, and they play a portion of the new Battlestar Galactica theme. It's just short enough to where if you know the theme, you'll recognize it, but they're not going to have to be, worry about copyright violations.
Mhm. That's
So,
interesting.
but both of these are catchy, and it's
Yeah.
clear for the second version, they really wanted it to have the skeleton of the first version, but there's just nothing better than the first one.
Yeah. Although some might disagree with that and hold that thought.
Okay.
Spoilers. Okay, well, let's head on, right? So you're number
Yes.
three. Oh, you're number three. I just pulled it up and I'm like, oh yeah, this was thinking out of the box. Go for it.
But the thing is, everybody knows this. It
Yep.
does. This is multi-generational. Every generation that's ever watched this set of TV programs knows this song.
All right, here we go. Take it
Yeah,
away.
everybody knows this as the Olympics theme. It actually has a real name. It's called, I wrote this down here. It's called the Buglers theme, and it's made by a guy named Leo Arnaud. I don't know if he's French. I don't know if he's American. I don't know if he's British, but this is instantly recognizable. You play this music, and people think about, throwing the javelin, or for me, it's gymnastics, because this is back in the day of Olga Korbut in 1972, doing a move in the Olympics that was forbidden from the Olympics ever since. Um, the drama of the 1972 Munich Olympic Games being interrupted by a terrible act of terrorism. It's just been kept It's been kept for every Olympic broadcast on broadcast TV ever since. It's an instant classic, and people from every generation, I don't care what letter or what designation you have, everybody knows this song.
Yeah. And there's more to it than just that part that everybody can hum. I
Oh,
tried
it
to,
runs about 8 minutes.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I made a point of incorporating some of it. But there's more than that too. I mean, it's focused around that main theme, but there's a lot going on. It's a great piece of music, just
It really
standalone.
is.
It almost works against it that it's so associated with the Olympics because people aren't going to sit down and listen to it without thinking, oh, we're listening to the Olympics theme. It's kind of a shame, you know?
yeah, yeah.
But
Oh, I don't know. I think with the residual money he's made from that, I'm thinking he doesn't really care.
well, I'm sure he doesn't care. That's probably true. Um, so I'll go on. We're almost done here. My number two. And you're right. I should have switched off number two and number three. And this one didn't occur to me until my wife mentioned it. And then the more I thought, and I listened to the full piece as originally written,
Hmm.
and it was gorgeous. It just sucked me in. I mean, I like the parts they had on the main title, but just listening to the whole piece as one thing was really dramatic and really extraordinary. And it made me put it up there, and it made me put it a little higher than I probably otherwise would have if
Hmm.
I'd given myself a day or two to think about it. But here's the other Battlestar Galactica theme.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to hear the whole thing sometime. It's worth just kicking back, turning off the lights, lying down, turning it on. It's a great piece of
Yeah,
music.
it's kind of haunting.
Yeah, it
Um,
really is.
and again, there is a kind of a crawl at the beginning of this theme, for the visuals, and it tells you the whole story of what happens before you get to the point where the show begins. Just a great piece of music. It's just, you get captured by it and its complexity. There's a lot going on in that piece of music, and it's really, really one of the best ones.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, so I guess we're off to the number twos and the number ones here, huh?
Yep.
Pretty exciting. All right. My number two. That was my number two. It's
That's
your
your number
number
two.
two. Oh
My
my
number
God.
two.
Your number two. Right. Yeah, so what are you gonna say about this one, right? I had to do a little editing to get away from something that wasn't part of the music, shall we say? But yeah, tee us up or don't.
Well, look, this isn't, this didn't start a TV show. This starts a cultural force that's going on even today, and that's all you really need to say about it.
Yeah, and if you haven't figured it, well, just take 1 second. I'll pause for 2 seconds here so you can figure out from what Mark said exactly what this is going to be. Okay, one Mississippi, two Mississippi. All right, that's your 2 seconds. Here we go. And so it goes.
Yeah, and see, this is one of those things. This theme song, if you had played it from the beginning, every person listening to it would have known it from the initial note.
Yep. I just couldn't parse it out without the narration, which
Right. This is a theme song that you know from the very first note. Star Trek, the original series. And yeah, I actually there is a version you can download which doesn't have the narration. And I had it and then I lost it, and so I just gave you the one I had. But yes, this did not start a single program. This is a cultural movement. How many series and movies have there been? It's just unprecedented in television history. Now, I'm going to give you a neat little note about this song. People think they used a theremin. A theremin is a musical instrument that's one of the earliest electronic instruments. You might have seen it if you've watched The Big Bang Theory. It's just a box with an antenna, and you position your hands in the air to play it. You move your hand one way, it changes the tone of the note. You move you move your hand in a different position, it changes the frequency of the note.
Right.
It's a theremin. It
It's
does
a
not
50s,
actually.
it's a 50s sci-fi music staple, and that's what people who are going to hear it are going to think of, like, the day the earth stood still,
But it's not. They do not use a theremin in this song. It's a choral piece.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's all voices.
People think that's theremin. Oh, that's interesting. Sounds like voices to me, but
It's not a
I
theremin.
can hear
That's
that.
a vocal piece. And boy, I've found that I just love TV and movie themes that use choral music. You know, that's what's going on in the new Battlestar Galactica series. That's what's going on in Duel of the Fates from Revenge of the not Revenge of the Sith,
The
Phantom Menace.
Phantom Menace.
Um, and the more choral stuff you can put in, that's what they use in The Omen.
No, they do.
There's that piece Carmina Burana.
That's that. Yeah, yeah, that's right. That is in there. Oh,
So
yeah,
choral music for these kinds of things for me is just perfect.
yeah.
It evokes a power and kind of an etherealness in music that other kinds of pieces don't have. And so and guess what? Hey, original series is very much a choral song, choral piece of music.
Another one that supposedly has lyrics somewhere.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
There are lyrics which Gene Roddenberry wrote, and I found them once. And let's just say, lyric writing is
Yeah.
probably not his
Avoid them.
specialty.
I heard somewhere, I have no idea whether this is true or not, that he jammed some lyrics in there in the last minute so that he could have some of the rights to the music. Um,
Oh,
I
yes,
don't,
I think that's true. I think
yeah,
that's true.
yeah, I don't know if that's the case, but if you've heard it too, then there's a good chance it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's true. He wanted to make some money for it, so he wrote some lyrics and kind of pissed off uh, the original composer.
Oh, must have.
Yeah.
That's terrible. I mean, it's a terrible thing to do.
And this
Uh,
is another one that you'll find a whole bunch of different versions of. I know when I was a kid, there was a disco version that came out, and they played it on the radio.
oh, that's awesome.
Also in a terrible kind of way.
All right, we're up to the number ones. We're up to
Yep.
the number ones. Very exciting. My number one does have lyrics, and you hear them, they get played. And oh man, talk about a classic. This is a classic. Bob Harris for the music. Lyricist is Paul Francis Webster. And yeah, you don't have to be a fan of this show to recognize this, I don't think, because it's come back very much in the last several years, come back into the sort of cultural awareness, the zeitgeist a little. So I'm going to say nothing more about it. Here we go.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man, does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man. Is he strong? Listen, bud, he's got radioactive blood. Can he swing from a thread? Take a look overhead. Hey there goes the Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. I've had
Yep.
three superhero things on my list. Why is that not a surprise? I didn't plan it that way. Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. What? I don't know what to say about this. Other than I already mentioned who did it, who wrote it. It's Spider-Man. I mean, enough said, if you'll pardon the. See
I
what I did there? See what I did?
see what you did there.
I wasn't
So,
planning on that. I didn't think ahead about that. That was just the thing to say. Excelsior.
that's my favorite thing he used to say, Excelsior, which is the state motto of New York, right?
I did not know that actually. That figures. So
So,
yeah, I have no thoughts on Spider-Man. Any thoughts on Spider-Man? It's Spider-Man.
yeah, there's a scene in the 2012 The Amazing Spider-Man where they play the original 1960s theme. Do you remember where it is?
I remember it's played a couple times, and at one point she's using the sort of an annoying, overdone accent, and the second time she's just, what is it? Let me think about this.
It's from 2012. It's from one of the Andrew Garfield movies.
Oh, no, I'm thinking of the when it popped up in the Tobey Maguire movies. Because it
No,
also popped up there with the woman playing the violin and plucking it. But no,
yeah,
when
yeah.
was it in the Andrew Garfield ones? I don't remember that at all.
He wakes up to an alarm on his watch,
Oh,
and it
it's
plays a little digital version of the song.
that's funny. No, it also appeared in the first Tobey Maguire movie
Right.
in a way that was slightly annoying, but that movie had a couple problems as much as I love it. But yep, it's pretty well known and people
Um,
don't know why they know it, but they know it.
yeah, and to me, I mean, we can get an argument about this, but I think Tom Holland's the best Spider-Man of all of them.
I don't know. I really don't know. I
I just think
feel
he's younger, and Peter Parker's so much young. He's so young in the comic books. I think it's great.
I love Andrew Garfield just because I like Andrew Garfield, but it's a real fun, spot in my heart for Tobey Maguire, and that they set him young and he seemed like such a nerd and
He's just way too old for the movie.
yeah, he was already too, of course, Tom Holland, way too old for the part too, but he just doesn't look like it.
Yeah, but he was younger than Tobey Maguire was when he took the role. That's the reason why I say that.
Yeah, I think that's true. Yeah. Well, anyways, so should we go to your number one, the final number one?
Yes, the inevitable number one for me. Um, we'll talk about it later. Why in a minute. Just go ahead and play it.
I think this one I barely had to cut anything out because the time was about right, as I recall.
Well,
Uh,
actually, it's a much longer song.
okay. Well, I'm misremembering that then probably. But
No, I
anyways,
don't think they use the whole song for the theme.
so here's number one.
Take my love, take my land, take me where I cannot stand. I don't care, I'm still free. You can't take the sky from me. Take me out to the black, tell them I ain't coming back. Burn the land and boil the sea. You can't take the sky from me.
Right, does go on for a while. I forgot. I forget which
Yeah,
one was the 30-second one, but it wasn't that one. That one goes on a bit, but
yeah, it's about 4 minutes.
okay.
I think they repeat it 2 or 3 times. So that's the theme from the movie, from the TV show Firefly. There are a lot of personal reasons why I love this song. I have, like you, I have roots in Appalachia, and the music with the fiddle and just it is reminiscent of the old Appalachian by way of Celtic murder ballads. Songs about people that don't fit in society and have to step out and move away and live outside society because society's treated them so poorly. It just fits the show perfectly, but it also hits a lot of interesting cultural notes for me.
It's funny, I picked two Battlestar Galacticas, but for whatever reason, I only wanted to pick one Joss Whedon. This one almost made it for me. For me, it was like my list is going to be either this one or Buffy. And Buffy is got stronger associations for me.
Yeah.
The style really grabs me in a way that I don't get grabbed by other theme songs, but this one could easily have been in there. I talked about this whole topic we were doing extensively with my wife. And we both talked about this one, but I didn't put it in there. But it definitely it's definitely memorable. And it's written by Joss Whedon, and he's talented with the writing of the music, in
Yeah,
general.
well, after the Buffy musical episode, his idol, Stephen Sondheim, wrote him a note that said, fabulous,
Yeah.
incredible work. And what I was talking about, there are certain songs, which I mean, certain TV shows which pay very close attention to the music, and not just the theme music, not just the score of the show, but using songs as uh, illustrations of what's going on in the show. I mean, obvious examples are The Sopranos. All of Joss Whedon shows are music oriented. Anything David Lynch does. He's very in tune with music. Quentin Tarantino is like that, and Joss Whedon just has this, terrible human being, but very artistic.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm going to keep saying this over and over and over again. And I would love to have. It's a dream. It's a pipe dream, but I would love to have Will Wheaton on to talk about his explanation of why it's okay to like art made by terrible people.
A
Because,
long line of incredibly talented creeps.
yeah, there just are. But this hits all the right notes for me. It perfectly matches the show. I have a cultural link to it. It, it is both reminiscent of science fiction and westerns, which is, um, the best description I've ever heard of Firefly is a horse opera in space. And the music is very folklore music. It's very folk music. And when you know the reason why he wrote the show or the premise he had for the show, he read a book called The Killer Angels about the Civil War, but it's not mostly written from the point of view of the generals, the way most Civil War movies are written,
Mhm.
or books are written. It's written more from the perspective of the infantry soldiers on the ground. And this is the kind of music they would be making around the campfire the night before the battle, or huddled on a lonely planet where everything tries to kill you and you don't have much in the way of resources, and the environment is terrible and survival is important. I mean, we come from this tradition where survival, not just of not you don't have to survive just the elements and nature. You also have to survive people who are around you that are stealing from you and taking from you, and kind of just in general oppressing you. And for those of you who haven't figured this out, we're talking about growing up in Appalachia. There is this musical tradition of simple, plain made folk music that deals with really dark themes like murder and oppression and disease and death. And it all comes from, the kind of Celtic, Irish, Scottish music
It's
that
gotcha.
were brought that was brought to the United States and to Appalachia. So
Mhm.
it's this is just kind of, I mean, this song will emotionally move me and friends I know from the same kind of background because it hits a lot of notes.
Mhm. Yeah, thinking back on just talking about this guy again, we did our thing about movie themes.
Yeah.
And one I left out, if I'd thought of it, it would have been in there near the top, was his setting of Sigh No More for Much Ado About Nothing. Very
Oh yeah, yeah.
talented guy, that Joss Whedon. I listened to that a lot. And in fact, now that I mention it, when we're done here, I'm probably going to go downstairs and listen to it on my smart speaker.
Yeah, he's like I said, he's very, very, very attuned to music in his shows, and it elevates every part of the show. And the creators who are making this kind of TV show and incorporating that kind of passion for music in it It makes the writing better. It makes the direction better. It makes the editing better. It makes the actors better. It makes everything better.
Yeah.
And then that goes back to the show we did with my friend Reinhard, who says when he used to write, he used to do sound editing work, he would always find the key that the creator was using, and then only write in that key. And people who are paying attention to that much detail in the music, along with everything else, it just makes the work better.
Yeah. All right, folks. Well, this has been a lot of fun. There's been laughing, there's been crying. We've had, well, maybe not literally crying, but anyways, it's been a blast. It's a fun thing to talk about. I'm sure we'll go back to being getting into something heavy next time.
And
You know, from
nerdy
like
and
something
political and depressing. But yeah,
right.
we got to lighten it up once in a while.
That's right. We can't always talk about fascism, right?
No, I mean, I don't want to be, Schopenhauer or Nietzsche.
All right,
I don't want
folks.
to be,
Well, we'll see you in a couple weeks then with something else. I'm not sure what, but there'll be something.
Yes, and thanks for listening. We really appreciate it.
Our theme music is by Christopher Piatek.